We have another clip, and it's basically the final restart through the end of the match. And Nick, if you want to pull this one up, I just want to kind of watch it, and we can turn the volume down. But just hearing your thoughts, and I assume you've watched it, but what you're thinking and what's going through your head, or maybe nothing's going through your head.
I've watched it a lot. Yeah, well, I was just like, I need to commit to one attack, and whenever I got that shot, I kind of already made up my mind that I was going to get that takedown. I had it, I lost it, and then I, came back and got it, and I was still locked in. I was on top of him, and I was just like, I'm going to squeeze this, man. I don't care what it takes. I am not letting him up. And I was just watching the clock slowly count down, and that takedown, I think Gable was just kind of shocked, I think. He was, you can see him look up. He was just like, what? like, what do I do now? I don't know. It was just, I was excited, and as soon as I tried to stand up, I kind of just blacked out. In memory-wise, I was still there, but I was just like, wow. That was like, if there's like a photo finish of a historic match, that would have been it. Like, the fact that it was, David against Goliath, it was close match, 4-2, 30 seconds left, almost gets a shot, that's a lot different than doing like a slide by, like, oh, takedown. No, this was like slow, dramatic, intense. It was just, I'm getting the goosebumps sitting here again. I mean, I've watched that match so many times, and every time I watch it and I take that shot, I kind of like get off my seat and stand up like I don't know what's going to happen, because I'm just like, it's such an intense moment. I mean, it really is. It's just, that's going to be a moment I'll remember for the rest of my life right there.
You said it was like, it wasn't a slide by, it was slow, dramatic. Did it feel slow? Did it feel fast? Do you even remember it?
It felt very slow. I remember I was like, just going to wait. I kind of let my body take over in those matches, and I kind of let it decide when to shoot. Whenever it thinks it's a good opportunity, it kind of just takes over. So I was hitting my fakes. I felt him like really starting to bite, and I was like, all right, let's pull the trigger. And it felt very slow. It felt like I shot, I fell, like pulled my head up, and like just kept like knee sliding. I mean, I went in a circle, I think a time or two, but it felt pretty slow. It did not feel very fast. Well, the initial shot did, but it just felt dramatic. Like, I could feel the storyline already being written as I was like taking him down. I'm like, this is it. Like, this shot is determining the match. And as soon as I took him down, I'm like, yep, that's the match. Like, this is not going any further. I made up my mind to hold him down. I was like, no matter what it takes. If he stood up, I was going to lock my hands and then just hold him up in the air and make sure he couldn't get away. I had a stalling call, but I was like, there's 5 seconds. Like, bag secured.
What an insane moment, historic moment. Like, this will go down. Like, in the moment, I'm not gonna speak for it. I'm sure it was like excitement. You won. The coaches tackled you. Like it was great. And I don't know. Maybe the rest of the night was a blur. Like, okay, I'm a national champ. That sinks in right away. Probably, maybe. But the gravity of the situation, people are talking about the first, like, Dan Gable. This is the biggest upset since, like, Dan Gable in 1970, I think. When did that sink in? Like, your phone probably blew into pieces because everybody's notifications on everything, and you're on probably hasn't stopped even since. And now here we are today. But, like, when did the gravity sink in that, like, holy crap, this is really big?
I think it still is, I think finally yesterday I was just like, wow, that just happened, because the first couple of days were just crazy. I was sitting there like, well, I'm a national champion, but like you just said, you described it perfectly. The gravity of what happened is what's still taking a while to sink in a little bit. I mean, I've known I'm a great wrestler, but things are different when you have a great match, and now, a bunch of people are all over the place, sending you a text like, wow, I saw your match, like it was pretty historic. People from all over that if I've ever bumped into anyone or met them and they got my number, they're sharing with me their perspective on it, their gratitude, just all their support. So it's kind of just, I think it's sunk in a little bit, because I've never had a situation where I've been looking at my phone and I can't respond to all the text in like 10 minutes after an event, and I'm I've still just got so many messages I'm trying to get back to everyone, but there's just so much support out there. That's kind of what's making it sink in, is so many people are like truly like, they're like, congratulations, you did a great job. It was a great match. And so it's kind of sinking in. It's getting there. It feels really good. I think I'm finally, you know, I'm feeling the gravity of that win.
And not only everything we just said, the gravity, like the dang president of the United States is there, and supposedly he was going to leave, but he met you a couple years back, and he's like, I want to stay for my big guy. Like, you salute him. Like, holy crap. Like, you can't write that.
Yeah, that's also like when I say like the perfect storm, and it's almost like a Cinderella story, you know, everything just goes perfect and it's just so beautiful. And I don't watch those movies, only Marvel. I just said that, you know, just to, you know, come on. So don't, when I say Disney, I'm talking about, you know, like Cars 1, Cars 2, not no Cinderella stuff.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
you know, it's just everything was so awesome in the way that happened. You know, because that's my boss of my boss, my boss, my boss. You know, he is most literally my final boss. You know, he's my commander in chief. So having him there, showing my respect for him, being there, and you know, just running over to my family. That was the best thing ever. That's what made my night, is looking at my family, hugging them, holding on to them for that, you know, 10 seconds that felt like forever, because that's a moment that, you know, we'd all been looking forward to our whole lives. I've sacrificed so much for the great sport of wrestling. And I remember there's so many church camps, birthday parties, you know, so many things I gave up as a kid. And my dad just kept telling me, son, someday you'll understand the gravity of this. Someday you'll understand why I'm doing this. Like, you might not understand it now, but someday you'll thank me. And I was always like, no, I won't. I wanted to go hang out with the boys, you know. And it's moments like that where nothing was said amongst us. We just locked eyes and hugged, you know, and I understood. I understood. I didn't have to tell him. And because when I was a kid, the number one thing that I would always say to my dad is, I know. You know, he's like, son, you should probably do this. I'm like, I know. Or, oh, hey, son, on your shot, you get your head up. And I'm like, I know. And so it was just all those years of hard work and dedication that, you know, I've poured into the sport. It was, you know, all for one moment like that. It was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
And it's funny because I know. And you're like, I didn't really say anything to my dad, because you didn't, because now he's like, I know. You don't have to say that. Yeah. I know. This whole time, man, that's super cool. Wow. You got me. Yeah. So maybe describe, and I guess overwhelming would be the word. Like, almost your life changed overnight, and it'll go back maybe to normal. Maybe this is the new normal, but I guess I shouldn't speak for you. Did your life change overnight?
It felt pretty cool. You know, I'm like, wow, this was awesome. I think this will be a pretty hype thing for a couple days. And, you know, it has been, but it really hasn't slowed down yet.
Yeah.
You know, I gained a couple, my boys were like, oh my gosh, dude, like you got 20,000 followers. And I'm like, really? I'm like, that's pretty sweet. And I think every day I've been gaining another like 10,000 or so. So, I mean, I'm not going to change the way I live my life. I'm super grateful. I've got a great support staff. I've got the best family in the world. I've got a God that loves me no matter what happens. So, I mean, I'm happy. I love being in Stillwater. We went fishing yesterday, and that's one thing, is I'm trying to, you know, get a lot of this stuff worked out, because there's a lot of great opportunities right now. You know, maybe I could, you know, get some shoes coming out, or, you know, something cool. I can be on all these awesome podcasts. You know, I'm here right now. And so I like to still show my respects and give back to the sport, because my end goal is to inspire people, you know, not just to be great wrestlers, but to be great people, you know. And if you're being called to serve, you know, going to be in the Air Force is an opportunity for you. And it's obviously, there's lots of opportunities, and I'm living out an amazing opportunity right now, being able to wrestle and share my message. So as long as I can inspire the next generation to, you know, be better Christians, be better wrestlers, be better warriors, you know, be better men, I'm going to do everything I can in my power to support them in that, because there's so many people along my journey that made sacrifices for me, and, you know, made it able, so I was able to get my you know, passage paved for me, because of the people that gave back to the sport and cared about people. So yeah,